Coming up on the Rambler Report, Loyola announces their 2024 summer construction plan.
And students share their thoughts on the 2-year war outbreak in Ukraine. Welcome back to Rambler Report. I'm Natalie King.
And I'm William Bizone. Loyola will undergo a major construction project this summer that will involve updating 10 buildings across both campuses. Loyola announced its 2024 summer construction plans on February 19th, which includes the demolition of Centennial Forum in Mertz Hall, as well as renovations to the Milady Theater inside of the same building. Those renovations won't be completed until 2025. 6 buildings, including Baumhart and Mertz, will undergo elevator maintenance. Also, Dumbach Hall, the oldest building on the Lakeshore campus, will be getting a new roof rebuilt. Loyola Phoenix writer Griffin Kruger was at the town hall meeting on the 19th, where the university staff discussed the construction plans and shares the exciting changes coming to the Lakeshore campus.
And then the other one is they're installing geothermal wells on the lakefront by the Sullivan Center. Which they got to drill down real deep into the earth, and all the landscaping is going to be upended, and it's going to be a whole thing.
The construction will begin mid-May and end in August, although some renovations will begin as early as March. President Joe Biden and his administration are announcing the forgiveness of $1.2 billion in student debt. The relief will go to borrowers who have been repaying for a decade or longer and originally borrowed less than $12,000. In total, Biden's plans have now relieved $138 billion of debt for almost 3.9 million borrowers.
While some students are celebrating their debt reduction, others are dealing with the delay announced by the Department of Education last month in sending its financial aid data to universities. Loyola's Financial Aid Office says students won't receive their award notifications until at least April, giving them just a few weeks before the May 1st deposit deadline. Its current plan is for prospective and new medical and law students to have their awards by the end of April. New graduate and business students, along with returning students, are set to have theirs by early June. The office says students needing aid for summer courses will receive it in time for their April 15th deadline. Today, many cell phone users might have woken up seeing their phone had been switched SOS mode. A nationwide cell phone outage hit tens of thousands of customers earlier in the day, with more than 70,000 AT&T outages were reported after 8 a.m. No reason has been given for the outages, but the FBI and Department of Homeland Security are planning a further investigation to determine if this was a cyber attack. Students share their reactions to the outage.
It was weird, so I just said probably something random's happening, but it was just something odd.
AT&T has confirmed that their service has been fully restored.
As conflict grips the Middle East, Europe continues to face a crisis of its own. The full-scale war in Ukraine is approaching its second anniversary. Colin Hart has the story.
Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine on February 24, 2022 was expected to last no longer than a couple weeks, but 2 weeks have turned into a 2-year war of attrition. Funding from the U.S. for its beleaguered ally is in doubt as lawmakers struggle to reach an agreement on aid. As the war rages into its 3rd year, so does the debate over the best path forward.
If America sends money, I don't think it should be like violence oriented. I think that it could be more like budget for, I don't know, hospitals or something like that.
I feel like the awareness has gone down a lot, and it's kind of sad because it is still going on and it's not really getting any better.
Besides support from the U.S., events on and off the battlefield in both countries could influence the war's trajectory. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky recently replaced his top military official, and Russian President Vladimir Putin faces an election next month. Putin is widely expected to secure another 6-year term, but the reaction to his victory could reveal the extent of the domestic opposition to the stalemated war. For Rambler Report, I'm Colin Hart.
Thanks, Colin. And much like the U.S., other Western allies of Ukraine are debating their continued role in the conflict as the 2-year mark approaches.
Coming up, what are the true costs of a college spring break?
And the Chicago Bears hired their first ever female coach.
Netflix and chill.
Don't let your Netflix and chill become Netflix and spill.
Idiot!
Be smart.
There's only about a week left until spring break. Even though Loyola may not have the same break as other schools, Loyola students are still finding ways to have fun. Here's Elizabeth Winchester with the story.
With spring break right around the corner, predictions on spending and budgets have already begun.
I've budgeted for this trip about $1,000. The flights are about $350 to $500, depending. About $1,000 is our budget.
According to a JITNUDS Market Data Report 2024, students will spend an average of $1,080 for their week-long vacations.
Oh my goodness, I don't even want to think about it. It'll probably be a little bit expensive.
While some students don't want to think about the cost of their break, others have struck gold.
This spring break, I got lucky. My friend's brother offered to pay for our trip, so we're going to Hawaii, and he's paying for our Airbnb.
About 1 in 5 students experience buyer's remorse after spring break. Hopefully, that won't happen to our Ramblers.
For this spring break, I'm looking at spending around $1,000 to $2,000 just because I had to consider like the Airbnb, the gas, and then the actual ticket to get into the show. So that's what I'm looking at. Hopefully not more than that, but yeah.
JITNUDS also reports 1.5 million students travel for spring break annually.
I'm going to go home, talk to my family, visit them. I'm going to go to the Bay Area in California.
For spring break, I'm actually going to go to Dallas, Texas. I'm going to attend this drag racing event.
For those that won't be traveling, you aren't alone.
And so I'm just staying here. It's going to lay low. It's going to be fantastic.
Whether you're staying in the city or traveling for spring break, make sure to watch your spending and have a great time. For Rambler Report, I'm Elizabeth Winchester.
Loyola's spring break is 3 weeks before DePaul's and Columbia Colleges. Loyola's will start on March 4th and go through March 9th.
The Ramblers men's volleyball team has fallen out of first place in the MIVA and into 4th after losing to Ball State at home Saturday. Loyola went down early after dropping the first 2 sets of the match, but fought their way back to force a decisive 5th set. Ultimately, they could not get it done against the Cardinals, dropping the final stanza by a score of 15-11. They have a chance to bounce back this weekend against Lindenwood University in a doubleheader against the Lions. On a more positive note, the women's basketball team is getting back on the right track after snapping a 3-game losing streak Wednesday against UMass at home. They won 64-52 and completed a season sweep of the Minute Women. They were led by senior forward Satori Tannen's 18 points and 7 rebounds, as well as graduate guard Allie Berg in 16 points and 5 of 8 shooting behind the 3-point arc. Those 2 players, as well as 4 others, will be honored at Senior Day on Sunday against Dayton at 2 p.m.
The Bears just announced their coaching lineup for the upcoming season and have made team history by hiring their first female coach. Jennifer King will become the offensive assistant running backs coach. She previously spent 4 years as the assistant coach for the Washington Commanders. In her role with the Commanders, King became the first black woman to be named a full-time NFL coach. There are currently 12 women in full-time coaching roles on 9 NFL teams. Pequot's Pizza is Yelp's top pizzeria of 2024, bringing fame to Chicago's favorite deep dish. This pizzeria has been a local staple since 1970 and is known for their unique crust that uses caramelized cheese around the edges. To compile the top 100 list, an exclusive team of Yelp super users looked at the reviews of every open pizza place with a passing health score. Pequot's also recently saw national recognition when it was featured on Hulu's hit show, The Bear.
Now, I don't know about you, Natalie, but personally, I'm more of a Pizza Lobo guy. I'm more of a thin crust guy. What about you? Are you a fan of deep dish?
No, I'm not a fan of deep dish. You know, I've grown up in the Chicago area, lived here my whole life, and I just can't get behind deep dish. I also love a good thin crust.
It just feels like it's like a lasagna at that point. But anyways, That's all for this edition of the Rambler Report. I'm William Bazone.
And I'm Natalie King.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.